Welcome to Imagine Crafts. Any columns here. Today we're going to create this endless shaker featuring a mermaid. We're going to be using a variety of Imagine Craft products. We're going to use this stamp and stencil set from Recollections. We're going to use this stencil piece here of the set of the seashell with our creative medium and metallic gold. We're going to use almost all these images in the stamp set except for this swimming mermaid. We're going to use our setting mermaid and a variety of VersaMagic ink. Our inks will be Sea Breeze, Ocean Depth, Mango, Turquoise Gem, Pretty Petunia, Wheat, Pink Grapefruit, Thatched Straw, Aspen Mist, Sage, and I think that's it. Yep, that's it. I will have them listed with what I use to stamp which image with. That'll be easier for you in the description box below. So we will also be bringing in Ocean Breeze for our background, as well as Ocean Depth for our sentiment. Our Memento markers are in Rosebud, Angel Pink and Sand. Angel Pink and Sand are for her skin tones, and Angel Pink and Rosebud for her seashell bra on the mermaid. So here are our stamped images, which I stamped and fussy cut off screen just to save us a little time today. And I will stamp one image just to show you how easy it is and how beautiful our stamps inks are. I have some sheer shimmer spray in frost for some background depth, ocean depth, and some iridescent embossing powder for our sentiment. Crafty Friends Studios spiked ocean sequins, and these other sequins that are shaped like mermaids and mermaid tails for our shaker. Some plastic packaging, 65-pound weight dark blue cardstock, 85-pound accent cardstock, which we'll use for our front panel. Our tear tape and on-point glue we'll use to adhere and make our card. So to get started on a piece of 85-pound accent opaque white ultra smooth cardstock, I'm going to rub Sea Breeze directly onto it. This will create our background, our ocean background. On top of that, I will stencil our seashell. Now this stencil comes already sticky, so you just remove the plastic backing from it, press it onto your project, and I'm just going to grab some post-it tape here just to mask off any of the things I do not want our creative medium on. So I'm going to use the creative medium in metallic gold, give it a quick stir, and I'm just going to put this on here, and I'm going to go for a thin application because I don't want this to take too long drying. Once I have this all on here, I will replace my press and seal and my lid back on here, and then I will clean up my palette knife and my stencil really quickly because you don't want to leave any of your creative medium on your tools because it will get hard and stay on there permanently. I will set my panel to dry off in a moment, but first we're going to add some sheer shimmer spray, but I'm going to remove the nozzle and I'm just going to tap it, the little straw inside, to create some bubbles, and then I'm going to spritz some on my craft mat here, use a fine detail brush to get even smaller bubbles. Now I'll set that to the side to dry while we'll stamp our sand dollar using Wheat VersaMagic ink. I'll put that to the side. I'm stamping that on a scrap piece of accent ultra smooth 80-pound opaque white cardstock. That's the same cardstock I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I'm going to use my anti-static tool here, and I'm going to put my sentiment, which will read Hello Summer, onto an acrylic block. I'm going to use Ocean Depth in VersaMagic ink to stamp our sentiment. And then I'm going to use our iridescent embossing powder on top of that. I'm going to put the excess away. And then I'm going to heat set this from front and back and front to get a nice even heating and also prevent some warping. Once that's all heat set, it's nice and shiny and sparkly because it's iridescent. I'm going to trim this down with my mini trimmer here. And I just want this into a nice thin strip here. I'm going to angle one of the sides, and that will be on our top left-hand corner of our card. I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to fussy cut our little sand dollar out. And I'm just leaving a tiny little white edge all the way around. I did that with all of our images. So our panel is now dry. It is time to start constructing our shaker. So I'm going to use our Terra tape, some packaging, and the panel that we have our stenciled seashell on. So I'm going to use our Terra tape all the way around. I'll put some extra pieces in the center, and then I'm only going to remove 3 of those sides. First I'm going to adhere my images. So I'm going to adhere my mermaid here in the center and just on top of our seashell. So we have just the seashell peeking through, just like so. I'm going to put an acrylic block on her because she is on the texture paste, and I want to make sure that she adheres. I put my dolphin on the top here, swimming in, and I just put the on point glue and smeared it a little bit so I wouldn't have any seepage. I'm going to create a little cluster here of our little fish, as if they're coming in to speak to our little mermaid here. And I'll put 2 on the panel, and I'll reserve 1 for later. I'm also going to add our seahorse here, our little starfish down here. I'm going to, on the bottom right, I'm going to create a little cluster with our sand dollar, our starfish, and a little seashell. Then I'm going to create some seashell cluster over onto the left bottom corner. Once that's all on there, I'm going to press everybody down, make sure they're all smooth on here. And now that I know they're all good and set, I'm going to put my packaging, lining it up with my grid, and I'm going to remove only 3 sides of our adhesive backing. This is from the Terra tape. I'm going to pull those sides onto our panel of the packaging and press it into our Terra tape, folding our corners in. I'm going to repeat the Terra tape process on top of the packaging here that I've just folded inward. Now I've created a nice little pocket. This is where we're going to add our sequins in. I'm going to put a few of these little mermaids and tails in, grab a pinch or so of our spiked ocean water, I believe this is called, and this is from Picket Fence Studios. And I'm just going to now seal up our pocket. So I remove the backing of the top part of our panel here, and then I put some more on top of the packaging. So now I have our layering cardstock, which is 65-pound weight navy blue cardstock, and I'm going to remove the backing of our Terra tape that we placed onto our shaker panel. We're going to adhere our shaker panel to this blue cardstock. Now you notice I have a rectangle missing from my cardstock there. I'm going to use that rectangle that I cut out for our sentiment. Once I have my panel lined up and I adhere to my blue cardstock, I will repeat the process with the Terra tape on our blue cardstock panel here, so I can adhere our card front panel to our card base. If you missed anything, I will have everything listed in our description box below. And feel free to slow down our video. You can use that to toggle down below. So here is our shakers all set and done. So now I'm going to take those other little images, this is our third little fish, and I'm going to use our on point glue and adhere it to the front of our card panel. And I'm going to do the same thing with our sand dollar that we stamped on the bottom here. I'm going to use some Terra tape on our sentiment. I'm going to adhere our sentiment to that little blue rectangle that we cut out from our blue cardstock. Trim off the excess. I'm leaving about a quarter of an inch or so. No, an eighth of an inch. Oops. Just a little edge, a little bit of that blue showing behind. That's what I'm trying to say here. And then I'm going to adhere that to the top left-hand corner of our card using some Terra tape. And basically our shaker is done. We're going to give it a couple shakes, and you can see all the images below peeking out from behind all those sequins. So again, we use our Terra tape on point glue, created medium and metallic gold, Memento markers and desert sand, angel pink and rosebud, our iridescent embossing powder, and a variety of VersaMagic inks. Thank you for being here, and I hope you found some inspiration.